senior segment with your hosts Andrea Grace and me, Kat. We have our special guest, and let's go around our cult circle and let's introduce each other.
Hi, I'm Behren Buckler. I'm a senior.
I'm Jacob Collins. I'm one of the thespian officers for this year.
I'm Taylor Coon, and I'm also a senior.
So we're starting off this super special senior segment with a year in review. What was the first thing? That would be the haunted corps maze?
One of the first things we do this year is the haunted corps maze, but it also goes all the way back to summer. The people that are extremely in it work on the homecoming set over here. They also do water sails and such.
Were any of you involved in the homecoming?
I helped with the homecoming set, and there was a lot of glitter involved. 10 out of 10 recommend. Glitter is the bomb.
Nobody told me about it, so I didn't show up.
Sucker.
All right, what did you do for the homecoming, Jacob?
I built 3 of the flats. I didn't paint anything because I hate painting. I also took photos and some videos for them.
I made the truffle of trees.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
Okay,
I made, like, the
tell us about the
borax
truffle of
thing.
tree.
Okay, so you took PVC pipe, you took a little burn thing, you like, boom, and that's
Okay, so they can't see the boom thing, so explain what the boom was.
We took a little heat gun and we were like, heat, and then it was like, and then you melted it, and then you twisted it. We made a truffle tree.
Alright, so haunted corps maze. I know you were there, Behren was there, and Jacob were there. Were you there? You were not there. So tell me about your experience at the haunted corps maze.
Well, you see, I purchased a ghillie suit. so I would blend in with the corn. There were times I would just kind of sit in the middle of the path and act like a bush, and people would just walk right up to me, and I'd stand up and just be like, hi, and then they'd just scream and run away. I just wanted a friend, and just a very depressing experience. I quite enjoy scaring people, so the haunted corn maze is a place to go if you want to scare people, especially because there's a lot of places to hide.
The small children.
And there was a lot of crying, mostly me, but...
Alright, Jacob, what did you do during the corn maze?
Just for the people that are listening, Taylor did just leave, if you heard that, just so they know that's on the table.
Yeah.
But, she left too soon.
She went to see Endgame.
No Endgame spoilers on this podcast.
For the people that did the corn maze, it was something that you could go off on like several nights, and I made a point to go every night because corn maze is going to be like one of the things like I legitimately miss doing. I have a feeling I'm gonna miss doing the corn maze next year. It's fun.
You gonna come back for the corn maze?
I don't think I'm allowed to.
I
don't know, the thing of a 6'2/3" guy showing up with a clown mask and an AK might turn some people off, Because like
you're with the drama department.
That was like the main thing I showed up. I think like at least 60% of the nights I showed up with a clown mask, dark clothing, and an AK. And then I had a
airsoft AK. Let's.
Well, I made people believe it was real quick because I had a small revolver that I held in my hand, and I had another person, Lily, who helps mainly build the set, but she's also starting to get into acting. She was dressed in zombie makeup, and I had her walk or run at me, and I'd point the AK and shoot the cap gun, and it'd make a big sound. They'd see them go down, and everyone's like, those little people need to understand, like, horror with that. Well, horror with that level of context, like you're in a field, people can see very clearly that it's fake. Like the AK wasn't the best. It's not the best quality AK. The stock was being held together with electrical tape, and like, but the slight second or half second even of the person going, wait, was that real? That's what gets people creeped out the best for that kind of scenario.
Wasn't there a problem with someone actually like getting mad at you because they thought it was a real gun?
No, I got stabbed.
Oh yeah. That was.
I got stabbed for the second time.
Stabbed by?
Yeah, someone stabbed me.
Oh.
With a knife?
Like they got scared. I don't even remember what it was, but like they got scared, and they like not in the chest, but like more in the stomach region, and I was already like I don't even remember, but like for some reason, like it didn't even hurt that much. It was probably because I was running. But like they like, and I like looked down at it, and like they were like legit freaked out. But like, it's that moment of like you're not if. As soon as someone touches you, it's the all bets are off rule.
Fight or flight? Or you're like...
Well, like, no, it's not even that. Like, the first time I got stabbed at the corn maze, it was a kid with a...
The first time?
Yeah, it was a small douchebag with a corn stalk, and they tried to stab me in the eye, but they missed, and they hit my shoulder, and I grabbed their hand, and they were this little kid, so I like picked them up, and I was holding them by their hand, and I looked at them, and I wasn't wearing a mask that year. It was like the first or second time I ever did. No, it's the second time I went to the corn maze, and I held them up, and all I said is, "If you touch me, I touch you." And the little kid, I dropped them. They land on their feet, and they sprint away screaming. Just like if. I haven't caused anyone to. I've been the reason people have run out of the maze screaming, but like normally I've been known as the person that like actually helps. The Evanses used me as the moderator inside the cornfield. If someone has an issue with one of the patrons in the cornfield, usually they find me before they find Mr. Evans, and most of the time when something bad happens, I've handled it before it even gets to Evans.
Mm-hmm. All right. Our next question. So after the corn maze would be Totski or trick or treat, so kids can eat. Were you guys involved in that?
I was.
Of course.
So Behren, what did you do?
So trick or treat, so kids can eat, is where we go around and ask people for donations to the CMR food pantry. We only accept like canned items and toiletries. And, they think we're a bunch of hobos walking around in Halloween costumes asking for food. But, I went as Spider-Man because that's, like, my thing, if you know me. And we walked around, and we always get, like, a really nice load in. Like, we have so much food, we don't know what to do with it sometimes. And it allows people to be able to come to the food pantry and get some stuff. And it's a lot of fun because you get to walk around in a costume. I especially loved it when we went to somebody's house and they had some little kids. They're like, "Is that the real Spider-Man?"
Aww.
It kind of helps so you can actually run on walls.
I'm a parkour person too. I do some of that. So yeah.
All right. What did you do, Jacob?
Well, Totski is like the exact flip of the corn maze.
Yeah.
Because a rule is you're not allowed to bring anything scary. Because you're also allowed to bring like little kids to help trick or treat. And everyone's forewarned. They don't think we're hobos. We send out a letter to the surrounding areas where we're gonna hit. It's like, it's Totski. We're gonna be donating for the
Never
CMR.
gotten that letter.
I know you've never gotten that letter. It's because no one ever goes over to your house.
We went to my house.
Yeah, it's because it's you. But like,
Grab some sodas.
I take it to just do stupid stuff. Like I think last year I went as the starving artist Bionicle, and basically what it is, I got this like 3-foot long crayon.
Oh.
And the inside was hollow, so I took off the flat end. I stuck it in my arm and I walked around like that. And I took like an artsy hat and I put it on backwards to make it more artsy. Yeah.
Backwards beret.
I think I got on the news for that. They're like, that looks interesting.
Deranged man with crayon arm and fancy beret.
I went as an Enderman last year. Full body black suit and an Enderman box.
Were you the kid with the Jello? Or was that Josh?
Josh had the weird jam that broke on the...
All right. So our next thing would be the fundraisers that we do, the raffle tickets and the chocolate sales. How did you guys do with that?
Spectacular. You did nothing.
Oh!
You're right.
All right. So continue talking about any fun stories from that.
Well,
In Bear's defense, he did have a conflict of interest. He does more arts than just specifically theater. So
I'm usually extremely busy, so getting around to fundraising, I don't know how other people do it, because not only am I lazy, but I'm also very busy. So I got like rehearsals, I got like choir concerts to deal with, and everybody else is like, oh, I just sold $1,000 worth of chocolate. I'm like, I had to buy $100 just to meet the requirements out of my own money.
Right. So after the fundraisers, we get to our first production, The Sound of Music. So I know, Behren, you were, what was his name? Oh God, what was his name?
I'm not going to tell you.
I don't remember his name, but you were Liesel's love interest.
It was Rolf.
Rolf, yes, Rolf.
My
He's
name
the sound you make after you have too much of Sunday lunch.
Rolf. And then you were Max. So what is your best memory from The Sound of Music?
It ending.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was when I enjoy yelling at people on stage because it's more fun than talking to people normally. I remember one time, this part where Rolf just kind of lets loose on Liesel and hurts her feelings, and I remember I was yelling at her and I made her break, and she was covered her face because she was smiling, and then it almost made me break too because we were both trying not to laugh.
Right.
It was pretty great. Most of my favorite memories are backstage. So.
Oh God, backstage just playing sticks.
Those are dumb.
Yeah.
God.
All right, Jacob.
Well, The Sound of Music was fun. I think the biggest thing that I appreciated was Sound of Music was probably the closest you guys got to doing stuff, because I praise stuff not as the actual production.
Explain for the people who don't know what stuff is.
Stuff is the variety show where people take songs and monologues and scenes and they all combine them into something, and then they portray their small little tidbits of art for the community. Shut up. So we didn't do that this year, and instead we just put in another show. But I'd like to say Sound of Music is probably the closest we got to it, because the amount of small parts in such a big show.
Oh God, yeah.
There were huge parts. I had over 300 lines myself,
Yeah.
and that allowed me to be able to kind of flex on stage and just yes, I'm taking credit. I did good.
You did.
I was good. But it also had parts that you guys got to get into yourself.
Oh God, yeah.
You guys being able to, even you two specifically, because you two were in Sound of Music.
Yeah,
let's
so
not
fun.
forget about that.
Oh yeah, dance.
Yeah, they were in it.
Wow, Behren.
She had one line.
I had a whole one line. I was so happy with my one line.
Do you remember your one line?
It was like hush or shh, or it was be quiet or hush or something like that.
I thought it was like thank you when you're giving her cookies.
No, it wasn't thank you. No.
I was like, how's your crumpets?
Oh yeah, it was. I don't even remember. I just remember her.
But yeah, you guys.
Oh, Frau Schrader.
Yes. You guys got to get your feet wet technically, and I'm sure both of you appreciate that because it allowed you guys to branch into new shows. You with the one directly after that, and then you with the one after that.
Oh God,
being understudies, and I cannot tell you how phenomenal people doing understudy roles can be, as long as they don't squander it. And you pulled yourself into a main role, Kyrie. You were shut up.
She wasn't supposed to be here, but Kyrie's here.
If I remember correctly, you were going to be an understudy, but you couldn't.
How to drive.
Yeah, driving is important.
Driving's important.
Yeah, no, but it allows people to get their feet wet, and the whole thing of a high school is people are moving through on 4-year periods. The ability to be able to have freshmen get their feet wet, because I'm sure, no offense to any of you, if you had to go on and play even let's say Mother Abbess.
Oh, I can't sing. That's
Would
rough.
would any of you have it's even saying the ability you had the ability to sing? Would any of you have even enjoyed that?
I mean, me being weird, I probably would have. But
would have been
just
very intimidating.
it would have been intimidating. Yeah.
That's the question. Would you have frozen on stage,
Yeah,
knowing
that's-
that you had that much? Because that's a thing. I remember back when I was a freshman myself. It was myself
No way.
and someone else got
You're a
picked to do smaller roles for our town, which is another nice big cast. But the other person had only 7 lines to do, and they froze. As soon as it came to their turn, it was right at the end of the play. They started speaking lines in the graveyard scene, and they froze and they got bailed out. And that's actually how I proved myself to Mr. Evans. Is I turned from being the kid during auditions. I was so nervous I read the wrong page of the script. I was supposed to read the one on the left-hand side, and I wrote the one on the right-hand side. And he still cast me for some God knows why. But during the actual moment where it mattered, during the last show, in the last scene where the person froze, I stepped in and I bailed them out. And being able to do a line bailout as a freshman, it's something that he looked at, and I think that contributed to him keeping me around a little bit.
Yeah, alright, so after The Sound of Music, we had 26 Pebbles.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in 26 Pebbles. Were you involved in 26 Pebbles, Behren?
No.
One battle.
Oh, no.
I'm only a little bit salty.
Oh, yeah, Leica.
Skipped Leica.
I'm sorry, I skipped Leica.
Very nice.
Oh, and That's Fest. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Huge thing.
I'm sorry.
Fest is so much more notable than 26 right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Legit. Us.
Know what the? Oh shoot.
Yeah, Fest, or if you're stupid, ThesCon, sorry.
Throwing
was it's basically everyone in the state everyone in the state of Montana for theater comes together, and they basically perform and see who sucks less.
Most of them are not good.
Oh my God, Bear.
Let's not throw shade.
I'm gonna throw shade wherever the hell I want to, and Bear already did it. But it's so fun. I enjoy whether it's bad or not. I enjoy watching other people perform because they're people that are like-minded.
You enjoy falling asleep consecutively.
Bear, it's just because you have no attention span. But
It was cool seeing Great Falls High actually go out there with us too. I think
Yeah.
that was
in Great Falls High, say whatever you want about what they do in the community. When they come to Fest, they want to put on a show. They have a desire to do something, and they hold themselves in very high regard, and we hold ourselves in high regard too. Bear, you know you do.
I was just.
No.
Are you gonna say something?
Well, I just don't think Great Falls High has a leg to stand on usually.
Wow. Dang.
All right.
right in for the
Well, I enjoy several actors from Great Falls High. They
have lots of good. There's
no you guys. Okay, this is something. The individual talent of people coming out of Great Falls High. There are things where I'm like, I believe this. This is really good.
Josh.
And yeah, that's a really good example. There's a certain actor from Great Falls High, and every show that he's in, he brings whatever he can, and even, dare I say, he defies his direction in order to put across what he believes is a believable character. I know for a fact that he doesn't always listen to the director, which can be, of course, maddening for the director, but when the director has a reputation of making people so traumatized that they try to leave the theater and then hold them in the theater, I enjoy what he tries to do. His passion, he's willing to try and circumvent the people that are trying to put a cap on him.
Yeah.
And that's something I can appreciate. But coming back to Fest, having all of those people in one theater, you get a certain vibe from it. It's
Having
nothing
a bunch
like
of
a community
drama
show.
nerds in one place.
It's such a good energy.
It's such a great energy.
It's so much unlike the normal community shows that we do.
Yeah.
Doing it for 700 thespians, people that are there for the theater and nothing but the theater.
You both were on stage at Fest. How was that
Yeah.
performing for a big theater like that compared to ours here?
Well, we've both done it multiple times, and I know last year it was really nerve-wracking Even though they couldn't really see me because of who I was in the show, I was a character called the Shadow Man.
Oh.
And,
Spooky Shadow Man.
yeah, and that's kind of an inside joke now
Wearing
between
Tims.
in our
Yeah,
drama
Tims.
department.
Shadow Man Tim's.
But even though I knew they couldn't see me that well, it was still really nerve-wracking. But this year, I went out there with like the most confidence I've ever had because like
Can we just talk about Beren's smiley face?
Yeah,
Bloody
that was
smiley
great.
face?
I think that stole the show.
We'll get
Yeah,
to
that sold the show, yeah.
so like this year, like well actually both years I've played a bad guy, but this year I actually had lines. Last year, my character had 0 lines and was just really creepy. This year, I got to be a likable character who turned out to be evil, which was tons and tons and tons of fun because I got to talk in a Russian accent, which I didn't know I could even do that well. I was like, oh, I have that accent. There were so many things that were changed last minute. Like, they ended up making me do a Western accent as well, which wasn't as good, but it was fine. But my character got to go completely just psychotic in the end, and what ended up happening.
We can't spoil it. We can't spoil the ending.
Well, because the play's a legitimate production.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to, you can entice it with spoilers.
Oh, true.
Spoiler alert!
It's about to go down.
Not endgame spoilers, though. I do
we're not
have
doing those.
No,
Like
we're not
a
doing
spoilers.
those.
Like a
Like a spoilers, Endeavor spoilers. That's an inside joke you wouldn't understand. Anyway, so like near the end, every single rehearsal we did, I ended up chasing Jacob's character off stage and beating him to death with a pipe wrench. Mm-hmm. And I come out and I'm like, oh my gosh! I start freaking out, and my partner in crime finally decides that what we're doing is probably not good. But for the run-throughs we did through the school, because we do 7 run-throughs we do one for each period to practice for Thespian Festival. I went off stage and started banging the file cabinet to make it sound like I was hitting Jacob in the face, and they grabbed my wrench from me and covered it in blood and then handed it back to me. I was like, oh my gosh!
Cleaning the blood afterwards was a time. Cleaning the stage, making sure the stage was clean for the next show.
Yeah.
I ran to the bathroom and got a
did
huge.
the amount of blood, even for the final run of the 7th, was nothing compared to what we did for the actual show. We went balls to the walls. Get your costumes dirty. We were like Taylor, Bear, and myself. We were layered in blood.
It was all over. But they didn't tell me that they were gonna do that. Nobody told me. So they just grabbed my wrench from me, covered it in blood, and then handed it back. I'm like, oh, it's all over my hand. So I walked back out on stage, and I'm like, I'm gonna do something with this. So I get a bunch on my hands. I lather my hands in it. I just start playing with it. And my partner comes out, and she didn't know about the blood either. So she just sees me fondling this blood. And she's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, we won. And she's like, no, we didn't. We didn't win. And I was just like, I go over to this file cabinet. So for the first run through, I hadn't thought of the smiley face thing. I just put a streak of blood on it. I just whoosh, get blood all over everything. But what ended up happening, I was like, I could make this creepier. So they gave me I asked them to give me a little bit more blood so I could make more of a mess. And I went over to the file cabinet and I just started drawing a smiley face in the blood while I'm talking, and just the look of horror on the other person's face, because nobody told me to do that.
Man, I wish Taylor was here to defend herself.
Yeah. But no, it's just to go do something.
Well, and it should even be mentioned that the effects, the blood effects, won an award.
Yeah, we won an award that didn't exist.
We took home 3 awards, and one of them was that. And it's by like 90% of it is due to our effects department of Trinity and Bailey. They did so well with it, but Bear, you have to admit, like, there's no way that smiley face didn't contribute to it.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
It's the smiley face. It's the bloody handprint I left on Taylor. Like,
I wanted to do that.
Well, the thing is, she's supposed to stay as far away from me as possible. She's supposed to coddle my dead body, so I can just rub my hands all over, and she has to take it.
I think the coolest thing was when you guys did the neck snap, like the energy.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, the energy that like everyone just went.
The kind of pause. Yeah, no.
That was really
Another thing that I'm like legit proud of the play is because I did choreography for it.
You did a great job.
I don't remember the dancing.
Evans choreography can be used for fighting too. Okay, it's the second play I've ever done choreography on, and I'm very happy to say is that no one got hurt during this one.
Except Savannah.
Savannah got herself hurt.
She broke her ribs.
Yeah.
How?
She so you're supposed to slam and then do a corkscrew,
Yeah.
but she did a full length fall, which is like actually bad, like really bad for you, and she hit her rib exact and crunched. It
Crunch.
Yeah, it was a good crunch. But like the first time I ever choreographed something, this guy, his name's Michael, and I love him, but Jesus Christ, this was stupid. He took a legitimate hatchet to rehearsal.
Oh.
And he's like, he told me later what was going through his mind is, it's fine, I'll keep the cover on. And he accidentally domes a girl in the head, and it puts a hole in her skull.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened.
McKenna has a hole in her skull now.
Oh.
Why did you think I was back here after the show in between the plays? I had ice up to her head, and it was like, we're
Was
gonna
this
be
like
fine.
that?
No, this was my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
Sophomore.
Yeah, her head got pretty soft. Just, like I was like we had people coming to take her to the hospital. Like she's legit, she had a hole in her head, and he felt so bad, and like I felt bad because I was the choreographer, although he didn't do what I told him to do. So
What did he
people tell
do?
me not to feel bad about it.
What was the original? Like,
The original thing was for him to have like this toy night. All of us had. I got to judge who got what.
Mm-hmm.
So people, I got a machete that had a little groove in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost impossible to see to the eye, but if you can time it perfectly and land it right on someone's head, it looks like it slices into their head.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do that. And I trust myself, and I made sure the person I was chopping their head open was okay with that as well. And then we did it.
Consensual head chopping.
No, everyone had to be okay with everything. And the most important person was the person getting hit.
Yeah.
Another person, one of the robots in the play, they had a spear that they jammed through someone and picked them up as like they're holding it from their stomach.
That's awesome.
Then one of them had a tire iron, one of them had a crowbar. And since those two weapons weren't used in legitimate fights, so I didn't worry about those, and I brought in a legitimate tire iron and a legitimate crowbar because they're going to look real if they are real, and they're not being used for combat. So there's no problem with that. And then we had fake syringes because syringes got stuck in your neck for some people. I got my head bashed in at one point, actually in the beginning of the play, but it's like a dream kind of sequence. But the thing is, the madman, there were two main injuries during it. One of them was McKenna, the girl that got her head, a hole punch in her head by a legitimate hatchet. And then there was myself.
Get your head slammed
I
into
got
the
my
floor.
head slammed into the stage. And all I can tell you is the guy was really into it, and he pulls my head back and slams it into the stage, and he accidentally keeps his hand on my head, and all I remember is this like the intense ringing sound. And luckily, he's then supposed to drag me off stage. Otherwise, I would not have been able to get back up. Like I could not. Like I stopped there and like. I am losing consciousness. And he starts dragging me off stage, and he flips me over, and I don't get up. And he's like, is there something wrong, dude? It's like, you actually got me. And he's like immediately like, oh my god, I just killed someone. Like, he immediately starts freaking out, and like, I'm like, go give me some ice, I'll be fine. Let me regain myself. Make sure you tell the stage manager. And I was like rubbing my head, making sure that there was no cuts. And it was like all that. It was like those were the two main injuries that came from the show. The actual show had no actual injuries.
Alrighty, so you can questions. Well, we can talk. Okay, let's go quickly through the rest of the show. So 26, tell us basically what you did, and were you involved, Behren?
I wasn't involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Yeah.
I
Jacob?
could just leave. Saw it.
For 20, yeah, Bear did see it.
that matters.
For
yeah.
26 was a reactionary type of play for people who felt bad about schools. So that's
Yeah.
that's the kindest way I can put it.
The controversy that started. Like,
Well, it's because the
Let's do Grease.
it's because the guy we didn't have an agenda, but the guy who wrote it had an agenda.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if someone who's really wholesome does a cover song of someone who's a really bad person. It's kind of like that. And I'm not saying the author's a bad person. He wrote it with good intentions, but what's good for him wasn't good for everyone.
Yeah.
I remember going on when KRTV, because they support us and they
yeah.
like put when our shows are there. When KRTV put on that, just reading people getting mad. There were some people defending us, which was really
Some,
cool.
yeah, but
Well,
then
some people were angry.
I didn't even
Let's
read
do
it.
Grease.
I would probably be
We
bad
love
for
the
me to
comments
read
for,
it.
for us to do Grease.
Well, Grease is a little nutty.
Yeah,
Grease is a little-
it's real raunchy.
I kind of gotta go.
Okay, Behren. Bye.
Thanks
This
for
is now
having
Jacob's.
me.
Thank you, Behren,
know,
for being here.
I can
Now
do
this
this.
is Jacob.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just thinking to myself, the only two shows left that they're talking about, I was not involved in. So
It's okay.
Wait, quickly tell us what you're gonna miss about the drama department.
Yes,
when
I'm
you
not
graduate.
gonna miss about the drama department.
Yes, tell us what
Oh
you're
my
gonna
gosh. Well.
As he sits back down.
As he sits back down, let's do this.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss so much. I'm gonna miss all my buddies. Like, most of my friends are drama kids because they're the only people I get along with. Everybody else just kind of thinks I'm nutso. And I see somebody over here just giving me a look right now. It's just like, I thought we were friends.
Huh? No, I'm looking at her.
Okay, well, I'm colorblind, so I couldn't tell.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna miss. I'm really sad that I only got to do one musical, and like, I only got one song in that musical, and it was like something I've always do is
I
be in a
am 16, going on 17.
Yeah, I got to do that song, and it was always something I really wanted to do, and I was really hoping we'd do Little Shop of Horrors so that I could be seen more.
Talking to me about that a week ago. Kat really wants to too.
I'm so excited that I'm a freshman.
Yeah, I never got to do that, and I'm really sad because I really wanted to have like a bigger part in a musical.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my part was like very, very important, but it was not a huge role. Like, I didn't have very many lines at all. I mean, he was the climax of the show, but he didn't have lines.
Yeah, you're a major plot point.
I was a major plot point, but that was it. I was in the show for
The
four
sh-
times
the-
for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, the show couldn't have been without you, but you didn't have a lot of lines.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Well, in relation, for good perspective, you had like 30, and I had 300.
Yeah, I got to hold a gun though, so
I mean, yeah, you
You
got
got to point a gun at Dan.
I
I
mean,
got to point a gun at like everybody
Dan,
backstage.
Liesel,
and
the
make them
children.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
A
great.
second grader.
Yeah, don't point guns at second graders. That's what 26 Pebbles was about.
Oh my gosh!
Don't point guns at second graders.
They were
I'm gonna
first
go.
graders.
First graders, small children.
You're a sick person.
All right.
Anyway,
And then
like I'm gonna miss like being able to come to school and like have something to look forward to. You know, like I'm definitely gonna get into drama into college, and I'm hoping to do it as a career eventually. And I actually was asked to come back and help with our next show, South Pacific. I don't know if they want me to have a role in it or what. I'm
You
assuming
might
they
have to
probably
teach the men
do.
how to sing because we're going to need a lot of male voices, and I don't think a lot of male voices is something that we have.
Yeah. I told Mr. Evans that if we do Little Shop of Horrors this coming year, that I would be back to audition for it. And he's like, all right.
To be Plant. I want to be Audrey too.
Everyone wants to be the plant.
I want to be Seymour.
Can you do this voice though?
Feed
me Seymour. Maybe on that
Alright, so what makes drama more than just a club to you?
The people, I think. We're not just a club. We're like a community, you know?
A weird cult.
Yeah, we're a strange cult. We recite Shakespeare and together. And Pirates of
That's what
Penzance.
bonds us.
Legitimately, I was walking in the hallway one day and I heard the drama people doing warm-ups and it sounded like a cult meeting.
Yes, it is.
It was terrifying.
Intro
and
is a
amazing.
cult. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? We start out with
That's
our
like
daily
our
chants.
inductions, yeah.
Yep.
Kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bunch of, but like the community is what makes it more than just a club. You know, I wouldn't have gotten to I wouldn't have gotten to know my fiance if I hadn't joined drama club. So that's something.
Drama club.
You drama.
No, what makes it more than a club?
It's not.
That was my question.
The fact that
Everybody
it's,
calls it drama
the
club.
fact that it's not a club.
Yeah,
It's not physically defined as a club. It's defined as
We
a
use our club time
We're a
as a way to
department.
talk about meetings.
Yeah, talk about the drama. All right.
We're a department.
What would you want to say to any newcomers that are on the outside who are like on the fence about coming in and joining us?
Definitely do it. You know, nobody's gonna make fun of you if you do something wrong, except behind your back.
But you don't have to worry about that because you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
won't hear it. You won't hear it if we make fun of you.
Or you have legit people that just trash talk you to your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
know,
then it builds
you're-
you as a person.
It builds
I
us
guess.
yeah, we're gonna be able to do stuff like that.
If somebody is gonna be mean to you, they're gonna do it right
Walk
to your
straight up
face,
and
and they're gonna
you
be
suck.
dead honest with
Do
you.
better.
Yeah.
And if you do join the club, don't be a dingus. Don't be a Drake. If you do join the club, don't be a dingus. Don't be a Drake.
Not to attack anyone directly.
No.
Attack anyone directly.
No, Bear and I attack people directly. If
We
you do
attack
something-
people directly.
Okay, he did something today. Like he specifically acts different around seniors because he's trying to suck up. Like he was acting completely normal, like a functioning member of society. He sees me and immediately starts going. And he's like starts like it looks like he's auditioning for South Pacific already, and I'm like, you don't drink. Stop.
Baron, if you have to leave, that was all the questions that we have.
All right, thank you. I'm shaking your hand
Shaky
now.
is great. Great
All
handshake.
right.
All right.
And I'm kissing Jacob on the lips.
Spicy.
I've got a chainsaw. I'm now cutting Jacob's head off.
Even more
Can
spicy.
you add in a chainsaw noise?
I cut Phyllis's head off with the chainsaw.
Okay. So now we get to go through the whole host of questions with you.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, because Baron has to leave and Taylor left.
And I have nothing.
Ah, thank you.
I
All right.
am nothing.
My mom will
So-
yell at me if I don't go.
Who has been your favorite actor or actress to act across from? Who's somebody that's really good to be on stage with?
Oh, you're gonna look at me like that. Well, I'm gonna look you right in your eye and say, Emma Tovson.
All right.
That-
I'm not
Oh.
gonna disagree with you.
I-
That's pretty great.
Emma doesn't even go here anymore, and that's how you know it's truthful.
What was the last play that you
I
acted
worked on
in?
her with her mainly. Shut up! And that's not even true. I've worked with her literally direct face to face, like our characters bouncing off of each other in 3 different plays, and then we've like worked on more than that. But like legit face to face, I've worked on her. We were the main characters in a thespian show, Control at the Lead. She was my first stage kiss actually in that one. Then for the next one, my favorite play I've done, hands down, Wait Until Dark.
Oh, that was such a good.
That was the
That's
first
why
CR
I'm here.
play that
That
I've
is
ever
why
seen,
I'm here.
Oh, wow, pleasure.
Thanks, Jacob.
No, and then finally, the last one we worked face to face with was One Lane Bridge. We literally just sat in a car and talked for like 90% of the play. That's what the play is.
I remember recognizing you from Wait Until Dark, and I remember because after the play we were talking about like,
Yeah,
how
we
we
were.
liked it, and we were just like, oh, it's the guy.
It was like the first day of class, and we were like, "That's the guy from that thing that we watched."
Yeah,
People
it was really cool.
People still call me Mike from Wait Until Dark.
No, I just
It was
remember.
such a good play. I loved it. So
I love
much.
Aiden Evans as a villain. Oh my, that was
He was
spooky.
amazing.
That was something I didn't expect. Mr. Evans was actually hyping me up to be the villain. He was like, practice your villain monologues. He had me do the final rote monologue in class, and I was like, oh, he's gonna set me up to be rote, and then he has me be the nice guy. It was a bit of a oddity.
You
'Cause,
and
like,
Andrew played very
Yeah,
well.
off each other. That was
Andrew
great.
and I, oh my god, it is so, like, he is so fun to act with because he and I use very similar styles of acting, and we work together extremely well. The only other guy that I've ever worked that well with was Bear.
Don't let him hear you say that.
But
He's gonna walk into class. and be like,
he and I, like, the opening scene of Wait Until Dark, where it's literally just Mike and Carlino, Andrew and myself, we're just literally sitting there walking around talking. It was so natural. No, it's just so much fun.
All right. What's your favorite monologue ever from like all your 4 years? Because I know you did your freshman year and you skipped up to advanced. What was of all those
And you've probably
monologues
done
you've
100.
Yeah, you've
like,
done
over, way
lots.
more.
What's a memorable one?
Well, you do about. Let me even try to like think about this correctly. You do around. I'd say maybe 30 a year in advanced, maybe even more.
'Cause you have
I'm
one
just
every week
I'm
now.
lowballing. I'm lowballing it because
Yeah.
sometimes you do one a week, sometimes you do two a week. But I can't even think of my favorite one because all of them, I like so many of them for different reasons. I've done so much. I've mourned the loss of my dying mother. I've like, I myself have died painfully, blissfully. I've fought people. I've cowered. I've done so many different things. But the thing people remember me for is the cheese monologue I did freshman year.
All right, tell me about this cheese monologue.
Well, for freshman year, I had one play under my belt of Our Town. I had 5 lines in that. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to do a monologue. And stuff was coming up. I was like, this is perfect. This is how most people get introduced to plays. I can do this. And I had no idea what the hell I was going to do. And I went on this website. It's called 100 Monologues. Professional writers went onto that website, and these monologues are so good, and they're performed by these guys who are amazing. And I've done 2 or 3 different monologues from that site, and they're really good monologues. And this one's called Cheese. Don't even try to wrap your head around this. It's a Dunkin' Donuts ad about deep fried cheese.
Okay.
And I decided to do it in this voice. And it was like, the new Dunkin' Donuts deep, like, just something like that. And it was like 15 different cheeses that I listed off. And I capped it off with the radio thing. It was like, this thing may give you da, 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 da. And I went really fast. And people remembered that. They remembered it at least until my junior years. That's what people remembered me for. Until, like, Wait Until Dark blew that off.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the monologue that people remember me for, if anything.
All right.
Speaking of freshman year, what got you to join our department in the first place?
My sister made me
Why did your
Nice.
sister make you?
because she was in it.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it worked
That's
out
what
for
I'm
you.
doing to my little brother.
So, well, I didn't get to choose my electives freshman year.
You don't.
No. The 2 electives that, like, the school lets you choose, My parents made me do band. My sister made me do drums.
What did you play in band?
I played the trumpet.
You seem like a trumpet player.
Shut up. And I also play the drums a little bit, but I'm better at the trumpet. But I had a falling out with the band teacher and stopped doing that a semester, to my dad's eternal sorrow. But I was good at theater. I was good at it, and that's what made me stick with it. And Mr. Evans, he played his cards very precisely with me because he knew my sister. And he did everything he could to make me not think that he's trying to treat me like my sister. He specifically would not let me play the main character in the 12 Angry reenactment. He would not let me play juror number 8.
Yeah, juror number 8, yeah.
He
We
would-
read that. Yeah.
He would not let me. His intro class stays relatively stagnant for what he makes people do.
Yeah.
But he would not let me play juror number 8.
He didn't let me play juror number 8.
He's
I
like,
don't even remember who played during the wait for
It was
hours.
you.
No,
yes, it
I
was
was
you.
foreman most of the time.
Yeah.
I watched one time and you were juror number 8.
was
Kat
foreman.
was also juror number 8. She's just taking it out of her head.
I'm glad you remember.
No,
'cause
I was the angry. I played.
I
mostly,
remember
like,
very.
Oh, I did.
I remember
I
very.
remember
I
sitting in
remember
that
very
spot at the
stupid
table.
details.
I don't
But
remember like the angry. I just remember being.
There are
really
2
angry
angry
all the time.
people in that play.
I don't remember which angry one I was.
Grace
Are you
played
the
angry.
racist angry one or are you the non-racist? angry
Non-racist angry one.
one? Okay, so you
It's
were.
really hard to remember these things.
I
Yeah.
only
Just
remember the
numbered.
racist guy's number 3.
I think
No,
s-
wait, number 3's. I thought number 3's the ditch sticker.
Dawson
Number
played
three?
number.
And Mark also played.
Yeah, that
I-
one too.
That's a sadist.
I just sidetracked.
Yeah, you were the sadist.
I sidetracked all of you at once. So hold on. But he would not let me play juror number 8, the main character, and he's like, "I'm not gonna have you play it because I'm not gonna funnel you into doing what your sister did." Because my sister is juror number 8. She was, because we've done this play before.
12 Angry Women, yeah.
She was the main character, and he's like, "I'm not gonna funnel you into what your sister's doing. Try this. It's a bit much because you aren't this kind of person." And he made me play the exact opposite of me. And he simultaneously made me feel like I wasn't being made to be my sister. Although I kind of was just like, oh, my sister's blocking me from doing anything cool. But he also got to watch me be able to do something that wasn't me. And that proved to him was like, he could do something that's not himself.
Well, that's the biggest thing he teaches us is to incorporate ourselves into the roles
Yeah,
we play.
it's, yeah, and that's
Well,
like a big thing.
The normal curriculum is foundation for intro. He's like, be yourself kind of thing. It's mostly actually getting you guys out of your shells.
Getting comfortable.
Yeah,
on
getting
stage.
comfortable on stage and
And then he teaches legitimate acting, intermediate, the foundations, what most people use, the blanket, like Leonardo DiCaprio uses it, Leto uses it. Like a lot of big name actors use it. And then in advanced, he teaches you the little subtle details, different styles to do it, more dangerous styles. The one style he teaches is like particularly dangerous, and he's like, method gets touted as the most dangerous.
what's the most dangerous to you?
Emotional recall is the most dangerous. It sends people to psych wards. It's because method gets touted as dangerous because it's the most popular method. Not to make a pun out of it, but like so many people do method acting that if something goes wrong, it's more likely going to be it's going to be someone in the 90% of people that do method than the 10% of people that do everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm not a method actor. I'll say that right now.
What is your style that you
I
use?
subscribe to Mammoth, who does a presentation. That's a stupid word.
Presentation?
It's basically you treat the performance as a presentation.
Oh.
So the biggest thing with intermediate, with method, is the audience is not there. The audience does not exist. And that's something that Mr. Evans likes to incorporate. But the specific thing of Mammoth is using the audience. You don't feed off of them. Like if the audience is low energy, you're not low energy.
Yeah.
But you work with the audience almost. If you know that the audience is about to laugh, you can say your line in a bit more comical. It's adapting the situation. Something that is organic will always be better than what you have planned. And me just like rambling on to you guys right now, this is 10 times better than anything that I could have prepared.
We appreciate the rambling.
Well,
Getting a
maybe
little
not
taste of advanced.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Yeah.
the only thing of advanced that he's not willing to teach that he's leaving up to college is improv. Because everyone tries to go funny for improv.
Yeah, he's gone on a rant for that in our
Yeah,
class.
he has.
before.
Everyone's a sitcom comedian when you give them the chance.
Yeah. Another question we had was, did you start in the acting department, or did you ever go into stagecraft?
I was actually kicked out of stagecraft.
Why?
That's not good.
The school kicked me out. Mr. Evans was mad.
Why?
My
you allowed to talk?
junior year, there's a major mess up with my schedule.
Oh, okay.
I applied for everything. I had the second choice because seniors get to choose first. I got my schedule back 5 days before school. I look at it. I have 2 classes.
Just 2 classes?
I had English and I had theater. And I was like,
Something's not right.
Something's not right.
that's not gonna work. And it stopped me from getting my science credit that year. I had to take my science credit this year.
Oh, that would have made me
That's-
so mad.
Yeah.
But like, it kicked me out. It kicked me out of my history class. It kicked me out of like everything but English and theater. And I had to go back and it was like, this is bull.
There's only
Give
2
me my
classes.
shiz. And I had to choose between. It was the same thing between stagecraft this year. Stagecraft this year, I had to choose between stagecraft and theater. And I chose advanced class over stagecraft. Because, yes, I enjoy building stuff out of wood. Woodworking's fun. It's relaxing. But kind of got to go for theater first.
Yeah. So I guess we're reaching the end of our time. So
Can
what
scan
are
through.
our last few questions that we haven't gotten around to?
Same one we asked Behren. What do you want to say to any newcomers that are thinking about joining, and what did you get? What's the biggest thing you got out of being in our department?
Yeah.
The biggest thing I've got. Well, exiting theater now after 4 years, even Mr. Evans jokes that I've been here 5 years.
And you'll make it 6 because you're not going to leave
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
That's the thing that everyone's been facing. People like, you guys probably don't care, but like the junior class, it's like surprisingly actually been torn up about me like moving on to college.
Well, you're dating a junior.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm talking besides Bailey.
Yeah.
Like there are people who's just like, I'm like actually gonna miss you, Jacob, and I'm like, no, you're not. Shut up.
Honestly, though, as like freshmen, I feel like
We look up to you,
You
yeah.
and Bailey especially, and I think it was because of homecoming. You guys were kind of like the people who talked to us the most. I feel like you are one of the people that engaged with the other classes a lot,
And like we appreciated that because there was
We
nowhere
were
for us to
scared
get
little
in
freshmen.
We were. Now we're kind of just here.
And I feel like you connect with a lot of people, and you're kind of that comfort source for
Yeah, we
people.
appreciate your
It's-
existence.
It's a thing of like, it's ridiculous for seniors to try and hold themselves on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
If you get up to somewhere, people who you see as being worthwhile, you should try to help them grow as well. I don't think I've ever said to a theater student, find out yourself. You've gotta give little things. I can't give you the keys to success. That's stupid. That can't happen. Theater especially is something that someone has to tone their individual skill. No 2 people will ever act the same.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to be someone who I've went from freshman year to the kid that is his sister's brother to you guys don't even know what my sister's name is.
What is her name?
It's not wrong.
And it's a big leap, and I've started it. I started theater as a very large but yet quiet kid, because I was told a lot to quiet down because I was loud as a kid, quiet as a teenager, and I've been brought into a nice happy medium. where I know the correct situation. I know to slightly project my voice right now, for example.
Yeah, we don't really got a good setup.
Well, our setup is an
I
iPhone.
know to project my voice right now, but I know it's like there's places where I shouldn't.
A library.
And I get to end as a senior who's taken home 2 state awards. I've been able to participate in more plays than most people will be a part of, and that's with me deciding at junior year was my turning point, is where I'm going to try out for every play I can, because my biggest mistake that I've made was not trying out for plays freshman and sophomore year, because there are plays that I wasn't willing, I didn't see myself as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not whether you can do it, it's whether you should try out. And you always should. That's the answer. If you're a theater student, try out.
Yeah.
Even if you want the experience, the audition experience, you being able to watch the people who are confident will be able to provide so much for you.
You know what? Thank you, Jacob, for joining us today and staying through the entire thing as we have been abandoned by the other 2. I think that's all we have for you, and we are going to miss you as freshmen, because we do look up to how great of an actor you are, and I hope, like, we all hope to surpass you, if not be like half the actor you are.
I mean,
like,
let's give credit where credit is due. Like the 2 other.
oh God, Taylor and Behren.
All of them.
Yeah,
Me and Kat have had a conversation. We have 3rd period together about how we're just sad about all the seniors we're losing
Because
this year.
you guys all are such like great actors, and I love when all of you are on stage, and it's like it's something that we aspire.
Well, it's a thing of another reason I talk to people that aren't seniors and aren't juniors. I go down to the lower class.
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
because it's not because I like feel bad for you guys. It's I am the only person right now who remembers any of the theater seniors from when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
It's because I was the only freshman they were willing to talk to.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And support is going to come through here, especially the thespian group was such a small group, and you guys are bringing it up to like 30, 40 people.
There's a lot of people getting inducted.
Yeah,
this
I
year.
love it.
Insane.
I love it.
The competition is going to go back up to when it was back when I was starting high school, and you guys are either going to become really, really depressed about it, or you're gonna rise to the top of it. And it's up to you guys. No matter what anyone says about like your skill, it's going to be whether you're willing to do it. The amount of pressure that gets put on actors is the fact. It's the difference between during Sound of Music. Do you guys? Do you remember the sheer amount of people?
Oh God.
There were 200 people that tried out,
Yeah.
and
Everyone
30
is in a circle around.
Everyone-
and
was like
30
more
people
close
got
circles.
chosen. Okay,
Yeah.
that for you guys was my freshman year for our town. There was 50 people there
Oh wow.
and 12 roles.
I remember thinking about Sound of Music's auditions and then 26 auditions.
Yeah.
A lot smaller. That was
Mhm.
crazy.
It depends on the play. If it's a classic like our town, or if it's a musical like that, people will show up.
Yeah.
There's going to be competition, and it's your responsibility to yourself as a person that wants to do theater to put forth your best foot.
Yes. I think
Enlightening words.
enlightening words from an enlightening man. We are very thankful to have on this podcast. And like, any final words, ladies?
Thank you. Kyrie's gonna have a great time cutting this down.
I don't know.
Can't wait.
What is she gonna cut down? It's all gold.
Yeah, well, there's some parts that I could tell. There's some black parts, but it's
The beginning for you guys was a bit rocky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we got through it. We're fine.
Plus, since we had to change devices.
Yeah,
I
because
can't wait
Jace had to
splice
leave.
It's not as bad. What are you using as equipment?
Audacity.